Now what you're going to want to do is create a black slide or a darker slide for Steve to use to put text and images over. So I'm going to hide this image by clicking on the little eyeball here that makes it invisible. I'm hiding the different text here. And what I'm going to do is make a black rectangle using the rectangle tool here, which is actually the shapes tool. If you click and hold on any tool with a little arrow on the bottom right, which most of them do, except for it looks like the zoom tool and the move tool. You click and hold and then it brings up that little pop-up window. You select the rectangle, let go. Make sure it's in this mode up here on the top left. It shows shape layers and you want the color to be solid black. You just click and drag so until that circles all the way in the bottom right. Press OK, and your cursor changes to that little plus sign. You're going to click and drag from the top left to the bottom right and make a rectangle. And even though it's outside of the document area, anything outside of the document area will not show up. So it's just a black layer, and you can see it's on the top here. But I don't want just a black layer. I want some of the image to show through. So we're going to turn down the opacity by using this opacity slider here on the top of the layers palette. When you select a layer, you can click and drag this opacity slider the same way we're shrinking down the image, and we're going to want somewhere around 75%. I'll zoom out so we can see what that looks like. You can see some of the image, but it's very dark, so he can put text over it. Now we're going to go to File, Save As again, save for web and devices, excuse me. All the things that you change should be the same there. You just click Save, and you're going to change the name to PowerPoint 2. I'm going to save over my old one that I did, which is exactly the same as this. And then the only thing that I want to do is add a in-between slide, a blank slide that looks similar to this but has the GracePoint logo on there. So I'm actually going to move this layer down here that's in the bottom right. I'm going to move this down so it's below the GracePoint logo, which is called Logo Copy here. I'm going to make the GracePoint logo visible and then move it. I'm going to change to the Move tool and then move it over to the left side for PowerPoint, for that blank slide. Then I'd actually like to see a little bit more of the image, so I'm going to turn down the opacity. I select that shape layer that's highlighted, and then turn down some of the opacity till it's maybe around 60%, and that looks good. So the image will show up, but it won't be distracting. The main focus here is the GracePoint logo. You're going to go to File, Save for Web and Devices again, and then hit Save and name it I'm Not Mother Teresa PowerPoint 3. And that is it. That is it for PowerPoint. I'm going to actually close this document because I don't want to commit any of these changes. I'm not going to save this, but I'm going to go back into the Finder or into your Windows My Computer and find the original I'm Not Mother Teresa flyer PSD file. I'm going to reopen that so we can work from scratch again for web. Now when you're exporting for web, you're going to want to change that image size again. So you go up to image size and you want to change it, making sure resample is unchecked. Change the resolution to 72 again and hit OK. So that's going to be for display. And then you're going to change the canvas size, change the document to pixels, and you want 300 by 300 pixels, and this is going to be really small. Hit OK, and you're going to say yes to the clipping. You can see it clipped down a ton of that image, but what we're going to do is shrink it down so everything fits in. Just like PowerPoint, you select the top layer, you go down to the very bottom layer, And then I'm just going to use the shortcut Command T to do free transform, or it's Control T on a PC. I'm going to go through this a lot quicker here. I'm going to shrink it down till it looks about right, and while you're doing this you can actually move it around, and about 23% looks right. So I'm just going to hit return or enter on a PC, and that locked in those changes. And with all those layers selected, I'm going to nudge it over a little bit by using my arrow keys on my keyboard. And there, that looks pretty good. I'll zoom in here so you can see it. That's at 60%. That is 100%. You can see up here on the top 100%, and down there on the bottom 100%. You can zoom it in a lot more, and you can see those pixels are pretty jaggedy. So that's why we want it at the 100%. You can see that up here it says I'm not Mother Teresa -flyer PSD at 100%, and it shows you your color mode and your bit depth there. But the text is cut off, so we want to just move that to the middle. Selecting just the text layer, we're going to just drag it over till it's visible, and then selecting the logo layer, the GracePoint logo, we're just going to drag that over until you can see it. And that's it. You just go up to File, Save for Web and Devices. Make sure all the information is good there. We want the quality to be 100% again. We want to convert it to sRGB. And then click Save. And we want to call it I'm Not Mother Teresa -web. And that is the image that would go on the blog and also on the podcast. And that is it. If you have any questions or you want me to go over something a little bit differently, you can either leave a comment in the comment section on YouTube, or you can send me an email. That's Nathan@gracepoint.tv, and I'll see you next time.